Last year, unfortunately, due to some personal issues, I had to open up 2 new credit card accounts. Times were really, really tough, and I was paying over £500 a month just in my bill payments. After losing my job in May, it was getting harder and harder to make the payments on time, and I was really struggling. However, thankfully, I was referred to a company called Rid My Debt. So I spoke to a really friendly advisor over WhatsApp, and they would help me to come up with a new personalised debt plan for me. So now I am well on my way to becoming debt-free, and all it literally took was a quick chat. So I'll link the form that I filled out below for you guys as well.
I have $73,000 worth of HECS, and here's how long it's going to take me to pay it off. I don't regret taking on my HECS because I'm a lawyer now and I get paid really well, but a mixture of undergrad, postgrad, and using it to go on exchange meant that I was left with $70,000 worth of HECS. We take it on at 17, we don't really think about how long it's going to take us to pay off or how much we're even going to be paying. We earn over $150,000 combined. This year, I'm going to pay more than 10 grand in HECS, but with indexation at 7.1%, it's probably going to index, I'm estimating, between like $7,300. So my net payment will be $3,000. It's probably going to take me like 8 years to pay it off.
So 6 months ago, I was absolutely drowning in debt, and I really didn't know what to do. I couldn't keep on top of any of my bills, and it was a really stressful time. But a friend had mentioned that they'd been in contact with Rid My Debt, and I decided to reach out to them too because I had nothing to lose, and I hoped that they might be able to help me. And oh my god, they were so helpful. They assessed my situation, they were super understanding of my circumstances, and they created this plan which I'm following, and I can happily say it is the best thing that I have ever done. And I'm now on track to clear my debts next year, which is amazing considering where I started. So I just wanted to share this in case anyone else is struggling and needs a bit of help and guidance.
I graduated from college in May 2021 with $70,000 in student debt, and here's why I'm not worried about it. I have about a 3% interest rate on most of my loans, and I'm well aware of what the best repayment plans are. Is $70,000 a lot of student debt? Yeah, absolutely. And do I wish I had taken out less? Yes. But alas, 18-year-old me did not know better, and I did my best in that moment, and that's all I could have asked of myself. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it, and instead I'm just going to educate myself. With around a 3% interest rate, if I paid just the minimum monthly payments for the rest of the loan term, I'd only end up paying around $10,000 more. And yes, $10,000 is a lot, but in comparison to $70,000 in student debt, $10,000 over the course of 15 years is not too bad. Now, I also don't pay the minimum monthly payments, I pay more so that I don't pay $10K. I'm making extra payments every month. And I'm making my payments bi-weekly instead of monthly, which is a little hack if you didn't know about it. So yeah, I have a lot of student debt, but I'm not ashamed of it, and you shouldn't be either.
Why do you have so much debt at 20, dude?
Yeah.
What have you done?
$26,000 is on my car. The rest of it is all credit cards. The biggest chunk of it all really started whenever I was out of a job for about 2 months. I was putting all of the rent, all of the food, everything on just credit cards. I had a decent job. My roommate had a kind of shaky job, and then he didn't have a job. For the first few months, he was getting money from like his parents or family or whatever, trying to make his part, but that's not sustainable. So, I had to start picking up his half. There was a 2-month period where neither of us had a job, so.
And how was that conversation with the roommate when you were taking on all the bills?
We had the same conversation of me just being like, you gotta figure out a way, and then there was no way being figured out. So
Did you get fired?
Yes. So I was trying to quit. I wanted to quit, but I didn't want to just like leave them because they were short staffed. We had stuff coming up. So I was like, okay, I'll quit in a month or two or something like that. But then like after a couple of weeks, they said that my head wasn't in it anymore. So they just quit.
What was the
They just
job?
fired me. I was a QC at industrial piping type business. So I just like checked the orders and sent them out to the trucks and stuff.
Okay.
I'm not very good at talking to the camera, but I'm trying to figure it out. I wanted to come on here and talk about student debt and share my story to hopefully connect with some of you out there that might be feeling really overwhelmed right now, especially after the US Supreme Court ruling. We're not getting our debt forgiven, as frustrating as it is. So 5 years ago, I graduated school with $100,000 of student debt. for my bachelor's degree. And at that time, that number felt really overwhelming. I had crippling anxiety. I felt like I was never going to get it paid off. Fast forward 5 years later, and I've managed to pay $40,000 off the principal of my loans, and I will be debt-free by my early 30s. So I've been able to get a handle on this without being a very financially savvy person. You know, I'm not naturally frugal or good with money, and I've been able to do this. And I wanted to share this because I think there's something missing from the conversation surrounding student debt. It seems like there's two extremes. On the one end, you have people that talk about how they're never going to get their debt paid off, so they just make the minimum payment and the debt seems to get bigger and they're going to be in debt forever. And I get it, right? Because that's how I used to feel, and that's what a lot of these loan companies make you feel like, which I'm going to make more videos on. And then you have the other extreme where there's a lot of financial advisors and content creators that post advice online and it seems really unattainable. You know, they're telling you to get a monthly budget spreadsheet and be really strict with your money or start 7 side hustles. And that's just not attainable, right? Not everybody is going to be able to do that, and it's not going to fit within your lifestyle. And so I just want to share another perspective on here that if you don't want to ignore your debt any longer and you want to get a better handle on it, but you feel like a lot of the advice online just doesn't seem applicable to your lifestyle and seems unattainable to you, I'm going to start posting videos on here and sharing the little changes that I've made to be able to make this big of a dent in my debt repayment. So if that seems of interest to you and you want to follow along, follow me, save this video, or share it with someone that you think might relate.